yesterday. We saw one of the best performances in road racing all season. This 34-year-old from California has put his stamp on the championship and takes the win. One rider in one race showed us all he wants the #1 plate back. But we still have 6 races to go, and today can be as unpredictable as yesterday. It's time for 200-mile-per-hour Superbike to tackle the rolling hills of Central Ohio right now. It's time for the MotoAmerica AMA FIM North American Road Race Championship. This round is Permco MotoAmerica Superbikes at Mid-Ohio. In our 10th anniversary season, it's our 7th of 9 for 2024. We're in Lexington, Ohio at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course for Steel Commander Superbike, race number 2. What an exciting day it was yesterday. What an exciting championship we have. Welcome everyone to the broadcast booth. I'm Greg White, and I'm standing alongside 2-time national champ Jason Pridmore. Now, Jason, what else can you say other than wow about Josh Herrin?
Yeah, incredible. He's done a really good job, and for as many different leaders as we've seen in the championship and crazy races that we've seen and injuries from some of our riders, Josh Herrin has said, I'm the guy. I want to come take this championship, and he's really done some amazing things the last 2 rounds, and yesterday was no exception. To win by that margin was incredible.
And look, we've been around Josh Herrin since he was 16 years old. He came onto the professional scene. He's now 34 years old. The one thing we know about Josh is when conditions are really sketchy, really iffy, that it gets him a little bit nervous, and he put all of that aside and was able to do this, Jason.
Yeah, right off the bat, he rolls around the outside of SDK. His teammate follows him through, and Herrin just put his head down. And what he did is the conditions of the track yesterday were fine, Greg, and he had convinced himself early, I'm just going to go for it. You saw Cambodia go up underneath JD Beach for 3rd at the time. This was the saddest part for me. Loris Baz was running so well. He fell over and would later on fall over again because the bike was so damaged. But Josh Herrin, like I said, you know, we've not seen him really that emotional either before, and you can see why. Look what he's done here in the last couple.
First 6 races were like getting used to the bike and some problems, but in the last 8 races, he has poured it on with 4 wins, 4 podiums, and 165 points. And that's the reason why Josh Herrin is leading this championship with this half-dozen races that we have remaining. Well, Jason, we're here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, so please take us for a little preview as to what these racers are up against.
Well, they're going to go into a turn 1 here that I love. It's a great turn, especially off a start, because it's kind of a fast-flowing turn 1. Up through there, up into the keyhole, turn 4. Tons of fans up on the hill over there. Great to have all you there. Down that big back straightaway, and again, turn 7 and 8, really entertaining area for the fans. And all the way through to turn 11, up into Thunder Valley. Fast turn 12 into a fast turn 13, and it gets technical towards the end of the track there. It's a place, Greg, that we love coming, and I'm so glad that we're back.
Well, how would you like a little bit closer look at it, a little bit more intimate look from Jason Pridmore? It's our Insta 360 camera, and this was from Jason riding a Superbike on Thursday. And I'll tell you what, JP, beautiful racetrack.
Man, I had so much fun, and big thanks to Richard Stamboli and the Attack team for providing me a motorcycle to come out here and ride around on Thursday. I used to love riding this place, and it all came back to me pretty quick. Mid-Ohio looked a lot different than it did when I rode here 18 years ago, Greg, but this motorcycle was a pleasure to ride, and it was a lot of fun.
And of course, you get a good look at the new asphalt that was laid down here by Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course team and the owners during the off-season, and Jason doing an awesome job. And by the way, folks, he was only 1.3 seconds slower than Jake Gagne, and he'll take that forever. A great look from our Insta 360 camera provided by Jason Pridmore. Up and down here at Mid-Ohio. And Jason, boy, what a racetrack we have. JD Beach looking to get on the podium once again. We're getting closer to our start for Steel Commander Superbike. Race number 2. We'll be back with more.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the opening ceremonies for the 7th round of this MotoAmerica Championship. Colors will be presented by the Legionnaire Valley Air Force, and we will move on to our national anthem. Wherever you are around the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, please be upstanding for the national anthem of the United States of America, which will be sung this afternoon by Miss Wendy Reiser.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you to Wendy Reiser. The grid then is absolutely full down here. Front row of the grid. Cameron Bobier will start from pole position. Alongside him will be Loris Baz. Sean Dillon Kelly will complete the front row. Defending champion Jake Gagne goes on row 2. Championship leader also goes on row 2. Josh Herrin, he starts in 4th. What about Vision Wheel M4 X-Star Suzuki? Their best result so far in qualifying has come from Brandon Pash. He starts in
Box 6, down turn 1, rider is up.
Your championship points leader is in the kitty litter with 3 laps to go in this one.
It's broken all the way through. I don't know what's going on with my luck. I've just been sitting around a lot, rehabbing my foot. It's too early to come back to Ridge.
And it's going to be Kayla Yakov who comes across the line in 2nd place.
I had to put my sunglasses on. I kind of think it's like at the end of Days of Thunder, his guy's just sitting there on the wall.
Am I supposed to trust you with this?
I'm making no promises, but it should be pretty solid, okay?
Bobby Fong with back-to-back victories, smiles all around.
Another big problem for Bobby. What the dude?
Welcome to bagger racing. 2 motors a weekend.
I think this time he actually needed my help a little bit. He was pretty down in the dumps.
Steel Commander Superbike coverage at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course is brought to you by Permco, a leading manufacturer of high-pressure hydraulic gear, vane pumps and motors, flow dividers, intensifiers, and accessories. By Steel Commander Corp, a leading steel building manufacturer offering expertise, innovation, and dedication to quality. And by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
Back at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, the sun is shining, and the 3rd member of our broadcast team, Hannah Lopa, is down on the grid.
An impressive victory, flag to flag. Josh Herrin led every lap of race 1 yesterday. Josh, how are you going to keep that momentum rolling into today? You know, winning yesterday and having a track ahead of you that you like and do well at. What's the mindset right now?
Just got to keep it the same it's been all year, you know, same we talked about yesterday, just going race by race. You know, I'm out here to win races. Got to, you know, like we talked about before the weekend started, though. You know, always thinking about the championship, but got to go race by race. You know, you try to manifest and think about what'll happen, but you never know. You know, these guys are all fast, and you never know who might have finished 8th yesterday will be up at the front. So, just got to keep my head on straight, and yeah, hope for another good race. I got the best bike underneath me, and like I said all year, just trying to prove that. So. Really happy, really excited about this race, and looking forward to going to COTA after this.
Best of luck out there, Josh. I think you can see how relaxed he really is, even sitting out here on the grid. He's been relaxing conversations all weekend. Now, yesterday, his teammate was 2nd before an incident that he had. Baz, tell us what happened in the race yesterday, and what can you do to improve today?
Well, same beginning of the race. I'm bringing it to the end. I'm focused on today. The guys gave me a good bike all weekend. Feel really comfortable on the bike, more than I felt all the year. So yeah, just enjoying riding my Ducati here. in this amazing place, and yeah, just trying to enjoy those 19 laps.
Flores Paz still looking to get his first win on the Ducati here in the Superbike class.
All right, can't wait to see it. All right, we're on the cusp of a race start. Steel Commander Superbike starts the race after this.
Continuing our coverage here from Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course for the fans here at Mid-Ohio, as well as around the world watching with us on MotoAmerica Live Plus. And Roger Hayden, as you listen to the riders out there on the grid, you can certainly hear the confidence that Josh Herrin has.
Yeah, right now he has it, just the way he's been riding and practice qualifying in the races and the way he's been winning. And he's got the confidence, and I think Josh is looking at it the right way. Josh just has to be Josh, nothing more, nothing less. Just do what he does every time he lines up, and you know, he's smart. He's been around a while, and he knows when to take the risk and when not.
On the flip side of that, when you look down at the Superbike grid, what rider do you think needs to start picking it up at this point?
I would say Cam Peterson. He's a little bit out. Bobby Fong, and then also Cam Beaubier. Those three guys are still with the shot at the title, and the only way they're going to close that gap is if they start winning races. You know, the season's winding down. We don't have a lot of races left, and if you want to make up points, you need to start making them up quick.
One name you didn't mention in that, Jake Gagne. He has the #1 plate trying to defend that title, but he didn't finish on the podium yesterday. He finished all the way back in 9th.
Yeah, and it's just crazy to think that the class is so competitive when you think about names to look at. You know, you miss Jake, but he's another guy that could. He actually moved up you know, in the points, he's the same thing. Yesterday's race was a little bit different with the weather that came in right before the race, and I think we're all interested to see how that hand is, how that arm is after, you know, he supposedly got it fixed after Laguna Seca, and this is going to be the test, and we're going to know after this race. The track is in perfect condition. See what he can do.
Looking out there on the grid, you saw the umbrellas that were up. Those were for the shade, not for the rain that we had falling at various moments yesterday. Having the racetrack, this fresh pavement in the sun now for the whole afternoon, what impact will it have?
It has a lot of impact because there's still a lot of unknowns. Yesterday the track was totally different than it is right now. We've seen people running into tire wear issues. Luckily it's nice and warm out. But whoever did the most work in the practice and the qualifiers, getting all the laps on the tires and working with their crew, are the ones that's going to pay dividends as this race winds down.
That's a great point about the tire wear. There was that tire test back on Thursday. Dunlop took all of the data that they learned there, brought out a new tire that the riders were able to try for the first time yesterday morning. It's a harder rear tire compound. All the riders using it yesterday in the racing as well as today. So can expect some great action from the front to the back.
It's going to be a big race. It's going to be competitive. Look all the way down. Guys like Brandon Posh, JD Beach wanting to make a big move today.
As we get closer, let's send it over to Greg, Jason, and Hannah.
Warm-up lap, Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, Steel Commander Superbike race #2 here in Lexington, Ohio. And man, the predictions for today were pretty sketchy. So far, so good. The sun is out, and we are scheduled for 19 laps in this race. Let's take a look at that starting grid because Cameron Beaubier was on pole, pretty close to track record pace, 123.9. Loris Paz and Sean Dillon Kelly.
Yeah, with Josh Herrin, Gagne, and Posh. So happy to see Brandon gridding back up after his incident yesterday, back there on row #2. Then we got to go back to row 3, Greg. We're going to see JD Beach, Cam Peterson, and Bobby Fong. Ashton Yates, Gillum, and Escalante.
Dude, what a run for Gillum yesterday. Fourth
Really
place
good.
On a stock 1,000.
And Ashton Yates as well as Benjamin Smith, as you see him there. Nolan Lampkin's had a couple of issues this weekend, and then we got Danilo Lewis, Flinders Arango, and Blackall there on row #6. So yeah, we got six. We got 6 rows here. So it's gonna be a fun race. And I think for Herrin, he's got to just keep doing what he says. And, we're in a different spot. For the last 3 years, we've heard Gagne say, "I'm not even thinking about the championship. I'm just doing my thing and letting things take place." We know Josh has a tendency to think about things a little bit different, which is great, and he makes that work for him. I think the benefit that he has is he gets good starts, and usually the guy sitting right in front of him, Cam Beaubier, gets good starts. I think for Cam Beaubier, this is a must-win race for him as far as the points go and getting some momentum before we head off to Texas.
All right, so for Josh Herrin, he's got a 33-point advantage over Jake Gagne. Yesterday's race was in the rearview mirror, and now we have all of it to race for in front of us. Lights off, and we're going racing. And it looked like Cameron Beaubier got a pretty decent start. That's the number 6 left part of your screen, and it's going to be Beaubier who leads us. And there goes Sean Dylan Kelly into second place. And is that Josh Herrin who got up into third?
No, he did not get.
Baz.
Yeah, it's Baz. Josh didn't get the greatest of starts there, so he's going to have to come from 6. He's right behind JD Beach right now. Great start from Cam Peterson, who we didn't see riding yesterday. He was actually declared unfit yesterday, so he's had some work down there done to him.
Pass for the lead.
SDK gets up underneath Cam Beaubier in the middle of the keyhole, and SDK is going to lead him down the back straight.
That's 180-mile-an-hour speed cam right there as the number 40 on the EasyHealthPlans.com Top Pro Racing bike.
And Josh Herrin just rode around the outside of JD Beach at the end of the back straightaway there. Now he's up the back of Cam Peterson. He's going to dive down the inside of the 45. Herrin making some moves early. Cam tries to go back by him. Isn't going to be able to make that work. You see Herrin give him a little shake of the boot there. It looked like of, hey, sorry about that. I'm trying to get going forward here. Bobby Fong also looking up underneath JD Beach at the moment, but Herrin knows if he wants a shot at winning this race, the guy he's got to catch is that number 6, but right now it's the guy on the 40, Sean Dylan Kelly, our rookie for this year, and he's starting to cap just ever so slightly. He's been really impressive this year.
Another thing to remember too from yesterday is we had rain before we went to Steel Commander Superbike race. There were a host of riders on different tire combinations, meaning like R3, which is a softer Dunlop front, to R5, to R7. We had people that were on hybrid rain setups because they had a session right before in the rain. So now we're in a situation where this is like as normal as you can get. This is the tires they wanted to run. It's the dry setups they wanted to run. And as they sort themselves out, the top 4 are starting to make a break.
I'm going to ask you, Greg, because I almost wondered if there was a small mistake in the middle of the keyhole on the opening lap. I can't remember Cam Beaubier ever getting passed on a start when he leads from the start. So SDK did something pretty special as you see Herrin now taking a shot down the inside of his teammate. He's going to move through to 3rd. So the guy that was actually 6th up into the keyhole on the first lap, about a lap and 3/4 ago, has marched his way forward and got himself into 3rd already.
So Josh Herrin up into 3rd, having a good go at it. As you can really tell, here's the pass, Jay. So it was just up the inside, and woo, a little bit of forcing the issue.
That 40 was able to carve that inside line, wasn't he? So when Cam Beaubier just had that number 6 move out a little bit, he was able to go through. So right now, the guy on the move, though, number 2. But look at Beaubier. See how tight he can hold that bike through there? So he's let things come up to temperature a little bit. Now he's getting closer to the back of Cam Beaubier. Hannah.
Sean Dylan Kelly told me this is one of the best weekends that they've had all season, but the mixed conditions yesterday had him feeling like he was riding a different bike entirely. He's had no rear grip, and he recognizes it's the same for everyone, but he was really off the pace, and they made some suspension upgrades this weekend to improve their overall package. He's really just been waiting for the opportunity to show what he and this BMW can do.
Well, he's certainly getting it done right now, but Beaubier also looks like he's starting to settle into his rhythm. All the while, Josh Herrin, who actually made a mistake about 3 corners from the end of that lap, still able to go fastest lap of the race at a 24.7. And any gap that he had given up just by running wide a little bit, Jay, 3 corners to go, he's making it up.
Yeah, you can see on the left-hand side of our screen, this is when he went by his teammate a lap ago. And you know, for Josh, he breeds off of confidence. I mean, that's how he rides. When he's confident and he's comfortable on the motorbike, he his confidence level goes through the whole nother level. And for him to be able to see him close down on the back of Cam Beaubier the way he has, that's going to give the number 2 a big spark here. So we'll be able to see what he's able to do. Because, Greg, I think if he's this close coming out of the keyhole, he will take a shot at Cam Beaubier when we get over to that turn 6 area.
Yeah, we know that both these BMWs and these Ducatis, super fast motorcycles, both with aero wings for aerodynamics, but the Warhorse HSBK Racing Ducati of Josh Herrin looks to have a little more pace than Cameron Beaubier on his Tytler Cycle Racing as they go into turn number 1. Herrin, this isn't the place to do it. Kind of get the feeling that maybe Herrin's going to try to use the draft and pass down the back straightaway. Fans of whoa, nice pass. I guess not. So there goes Josh Herrin Man, the urgency of Herron right now is pretty incredible. As Jay, you mentioned it, the confidence that he is riding on, amazing. I had a chance to talk to his crew chief too, Josh Herron's crew chief, and asked him, why does Josh Herron's Ducati turn better than any Ducati we see? And he said, that is a secret. There's a look at the pass on the left part of your screen.
Yeah, left part of your screen. What he's able to do, Greg, is put that bike on a tighter line, but still make the corner and get the thing turned. So again, you're going to see it here. He uses the exit of turn 1 to straight line and get to turn 2, but not sacrifice corner speed. This was something that I was noticing the other day when I was out watching, and he's just able to get this number 2 turning. And I'll tell you, this is a big blow for Cam Beaubier, being able to see not only Sean Dylan Kelly running as hard as he is, but Josh Herron has come from such a long way back and been able to move himself forward. And yeah, it's just crazy. Cam's just going a little bit back, but this is the pass. Again, you might see Herron do the same thing out of turn 1. He might not have to wait to get down the back straightaway. Look how good he is out of there.
On to the front they go. Not going to really try to make this move, but we've seen where Herron's done it before. Could it be the next right-hander? He's getting a good drive. He's going to try to sneak up underneath them, and there he goes. He's got position. So just like that, Josh Herron, boy, that's a gutsy place to pass, and he's able to get it done.
It's gutsy, but when you're on a motorcycle that you know you can make that pass, look at SDK, wants to sneak back up underneath him, and he stands Josh Herron up. So that's going to be great for SDK. Herron looks back, sees he's got a little bit of a gap, but I don't think he was expecting to see SDK stuff it back up underneath him in the middle of that turn.
That's the same pass he made on Cameron Beaubier earlier in the race.
It's a bike right now. SDK's bike obviously turning very well too, and he's brought Cam right back into it. So again, you'll see the number 2. He's going to get the bike stood upright, go to the right side of SDK, and as he opens up turn 2, Herron just drives right on through that door that gets open. And then the same thing here. Herron's going to get that Ducati out. He just misses the apex ever so slightly there. Pushes him out wide, and STK didn't need a second invite.
Fans of MotoAmerica can pick their favorite riders for a chance to win money. Available on your favorite sport books and daily fantasy sites like DraftKings and Underdog Fantasy. Visit nxtbets.com/playma for exclusive sign-up bonuses for new players and receive cash bonuses. Available in legal states. Check out nxtbets.com/playma to see where you can play in your state. Here we go on to the front straightaway. Herron has not been a big fan of making a pass in turn 1 yet.
But he's so fast through the last corner. Let's see if he tries. He's not going to be able to do the same pass this time. Cameron Beaubier is struggling a lot in Sector 2. That's where these guys are making up their time on him there. He lost 3/10 in Sector 2 that last time by. So he's able to kind of close up to the back of them right now. That number 6, good through the first sector. Once they get down to the end of the back straightaway and get into some of the more technical spots, Cam doesn't look as comfortable or as confident. Herron takes another look over his shoulder and sees that gap is about the same as it was before, but he's not close enough to do anything with STK as they go down into turn 6 again this lap.
183 miles an hour across the camera for Cameron Beaubier in a 2-bike draft. As Beaubier getting closer, finishing off this sector number 1. Now they're going to be heading into sector number 2, where Beaubier, as Jason points out, has been struggling a little bit. Boy, Sean Dylan Kelly has just got a mindset like, I don't care if Josh Herron's leading this championship. I've got to get this bike out front and win a Steel Commander Superbike race.
Herron actually sat up on the exit of the last corner last time because he had so much extra speed that he couldn't really do anything with Sean there. So again, we're in that sector where we saw Cam fall back just a little bit. And I really do feel that Herron's got some speed. Look at how good he is out of here, Greg. See him sitting up?
Yeah.
He actually has a lot of speed out of that last corner, but there's really nowhere for him to go. So again, he's going to ramp back up. He might try this pass again that we saw a lap or 2 ago.
There he goes. Up the inside goes Herron. No, Sean Dylan Kelly able to close it off enough where Herron didn't feel comfortable. Look how close he is now.
If Herron looks back this time and sees Cam Beaubier still close enough, I expect Herron to try to force a move sometime here in the next lap or so. So he comes out of that turn, didn't look back this time. He's got to be looking at his pit board as well. But when you're that close to a guy coming out of the last corner, sometimes it's hard for you to look over at your pit board because you got a lot of stuff happening directly in front of you.
Especially with the way you come onto the front straightaway here at Mid-Ohio. Got to really be focused. All right, 12.5 laps to go. Steel Commander Superbike race number 2. Sean Dylan Kelly, coming from a couple seasons in Moto 2, surprised everybody in the offseason by coming back to MotoAmerica on a Superbike. And boy, what a time it's been for the resident of Miami, Florida, the EasyHealthPlans.com, Top Pro Racing. That's a BMW M1000RR. All the talk has been about Cameron Beaubier. Titler Cycles coming back from Moto2 a couple of years ago. And then Josh Herrin, your 2013 AMA Superbike champion, trying to be the first rider in history to make it an 11-year gap between championships. And he's leading right now. And boy, there are certain sections where Josh Herrin looks like he's having to just kind of be patient, but another good run as they head to turn number 2. Is SDK going to leave the door open? He doesn't.
Josh just looks like he's sitting up. He looks like he's sitting there. I know he's trying and all that. Now keep in mind too, Greg, I got the tire chart from Dunlop. The only difference between these riders, all 3 of these riders right now are on the R8 hard compound Dunlop. The only difference is SDK's on the R5 front, where the other 2 are on an R7 front. So durability-wise, we'll see how that plays out as we get closer here to more mid part of this race.
Yeah, that could prove problematic for the number 40. As the new surface here at Mid-Ohio, this is the first season on it. Although it's a polymer modified surface, similar to what we see at Road America, it's still been eating up tires, especially with the conditions we've had the weekend, Jason. We've had great sunshine on Thursday. They laid down a lot of rubber on Friday morning, and then a huge rainstorm came in and washed the rubber off the racetrack. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. Hannah?
And Greg, to your point, all the riders that I've spoken to in any class, but especially on the Superbikes, have said that tires were going to be a factor. One of them being Josh Herrin, knowing that once they went off, things are going to change. And he said he spent some time learning how grip would be a factor in practice this morning, and he felt really confident about the stability of the motorcycle once those tires did go off. So we'll see. We're just about a little under halfway here.
Yeah, and maybe Hannah's point of Josh Herrin right now is maybe just playing the tire card. He's saying, look, I can't get away from Sean Dillon Kelly, so why not just hang behind him right now and see how it's going to play out, save a little bit of the tire in case he comes under fire from anybody else.
I don't know. I still feel like he's got some pace there, Greg. I see him sitting up out of the last corner,
maybe
sitting
just
up out of turn
tires.
2.
Yeah.
And he could just be saving tires. What he doesn't need is to have Beaubier take a shot at him and make it a little bit harder for him. I do think that he does have some pace. Look at this guy too. Loris Baz still only 2.2 behind Beaubier right now. So Baz is still back there, not quite close enough. But look, SDK pulled just a little bit of a gap there. That's about as big a gap as we had seen.
Yeah, that was
at the end of that
braking.
back straightaway. That's interesting. Yes.
It was like Josh was just kind of chill on braking. Didn't really have the urgency that he needed. So you can see how much corner speed he's got.
That's right. Yes, good man. I was just going to say the same thing, and you pointed it out, Greg. Up over the top of that hill, he's got so much more roll through there, and into this last sector as well. When you watch him go from this left to the right, he's got a lot of pace right here, and he'll just kind of sit up, and then coming through the last corner as well.
So the Warhorse HSBK Racing Ducati rider Josh Herrin saying that he's out here to win races, but the championship is always in the back of his mind, telling MotoAmerica on MotoAmerica.com, where all your great news and information is available, and of course scheduled. You're watching this on TV and you want to come to a race, we only have 2 events after this season. You got to come check it out. Circuit of the Americas and then New Jersey Motorsports Park, both in September. But right now here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, Cameron Beaubier, who is there, Jason, but just doesn't seem like he's got a weapon right now to make any moves or take any chances. We still have 9.5 laps to go in the Steel Commander Superbike race number 2, and Sean Dillon Kelly, with all the pressure behind him, is doing an outstanding job.
Yeah, well, you'd never count Cam Beaubier out of anything, no matter how far back he gets. But it looks like he's doing a little bit of the same thing, following these guys, seeing what each one of them have. SDK doing a tremendous job leading this race, and while he's got 2 Superbike champions piling on the pressure right behind him. But again, SDK with that team, first year out, and leading a good chunk of this race.
I want to make a note that Sean Dillon Kelly's fastest lap of the race is a 25.125. Last time by, he went 25.258, extremely consistent. Now, Josh Herrin has gone 24.7 as the fastest lap of the race, and he's doing 25.2s. And Beaubier has done 24.9 and doing 25.3s. So you would think for SDK out front that he's doing a great job consistently. Has Herrin had enough of following Sean Dillon Kelly? It looks like he might have a run. No, he just closes up. Hannah?
Well, Greg, what you said earlier about Josh Herrin trying to win a championship 11 years after his first, I think is really interesting, because Sean Dillon Kelly 11 years ago was only 11 years old. The other two were about the age that Sean is now, but I really think it speaks to his experience abroad racing in Moto2 and just the platform that the top pro team has been able to provide for him in his rookie season.
Yeah, we are so happy to have Sean Dillon Kelly back in our paddock. Of course, we wanted him to be successful in Moto2 and win, possibly get on a MotoGP ride. It didn't quite work out, but after everything that Sean Dillon Kelly went through in terms of the ups and downs of his MotoGP career, to come back here and right out of the gate have confidence and do well has been impressive. It shows the mental fortitude of the number 40.
And he's always so positive too. Every time I see anything from Sean or talk to him, always got a smile on his face, and just happy to be doing what he's doing. And you know, the top pro team did a good job. They put a great crew together of people, and again, what a great addition to our paddock has that team been. And we've seen them successful in other classes as well. So, you know, all three of these guys have a good platform underneath them. Herrin has another good run out of that last corner. I think last time they came through here, Greg, this is the only place there might be a couple tiny little bumps just there. You can see the bikes go over them. It looked like Herrin had an idea, like you were getting ready to call, but those bumps just kind of thwarted that idea a little bit, and he wasn't quite able to get that done.
Another 25.2 for Kelly. I mean, the consistency is unbelievable, and I'm just keeping an eye on the front tire movement, knowing that he's got the one step softer compound than the two competitors behind him. We're talking about the number 40, and as we continue to get deep into this race with only 7.5 laps to go, Sean Dillon Kelly is doing just an outstanding job. And I'll tell you what though, Josh Herrin off the back straightaway is just not needing to brake as hard because he has so much corner speed. So he's not punishing that front tire the way that Kelly is.
And all through here, it just looks like he's got speed. You know, he just looks like he's got pace.
Comfortable
down.
too.
Yeah, really comfortable. Like, it doesn't look like he's having to try very hard. And, you know, it's like, right now, it's just a cat and mouse game. Everybody's just kind of trying to feel each other out in the sense of, you know, where somebody's good, where somebody can be vulnerable, and that's what we're looking at. And now we got a little bit big battle here for 7th. We have the two Attack Yamaha, Progressive Insurance Yamahas running there right now, Greg, in 7th and 8th. Both these riders have been a little bit beaten, battered this year, which is sad. But how about Hayden Gillum running there with them, as well as it looked like Richie Escalante, or actually it looked like Brandon Posh to me. I don't see Brandon on our screen though. Here,
no, Brandon, we heard a little while ago that the 96 slowed.
Okay, so it was Escalante there with them. Okay, got it.
Yeah, really, if you look at Herrin in this championship hunt, as he's locked in this battle, the closest competitor to him in the championship that he's racing around right now is Cameron Beaubier, who sits 51 points behind Herrin in the championship in 4th. As for Jake Gagne, he's 2nd in the championship, 33 points behind the number 2. He's all the way back in 7th place. Bobby Fong, who's 38 points back, is in 5th place. So Herrin is taking all kinds of points away from the entire field by running up front. And of course, there's another 5 points ahead of him on the field if he can pass SDK and win this race.
And what we might be seeing here is a patient Josh Herrin, in the sense that he realizes that SDK is not a championship threat. He's ahead of everybody else that he could be concerned with. And, you know, he's following SDK right now. And sure, he wants to win this race, but he knows, hey, right now I got a race win under my belt yesterday. Look how good he is even through there. Got a race win under my belt yesterday. And the guy in front of me is a little bit too far back in the points for me to be too concerned with. All my main rivals are quite a way back.
I just can't believe another 25-2.
Yeah.
25-2, 25-2, 25-2, 25-2. That one was a little quicker. That was a 25.213 as opposed to a 25.27 last time by for the number 40. Yeah, Herrin right now is just setting the pace. He's doing a good job of putting pressure on Kelly. As Kelly, both these bikes just feel like, from what we're looking at, they come launching out of the keyhole down the back straightaway.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're so hooked up, so fast. Josh Herrin not even bothering with the draft down the back straightaway.
No, he's just kind of, you can see SDK's good off the end of that back straightaway. And when we start talking about pressure and things like that, yeah, SDK wants to win, but kind of feel like you create your own pressure sometimes. And when you have the good feels, I think SDK has, not only underneath him with the bike, but with the team and the crew that he's got around him, you know, breeds confidence. And these guys, you know, any athlete in any sport, that's at the forefront of their sport, they have a lot of confidence. So pressure is something that will build, especially as we get closer to the end of the race here. 6 laps through the middle of these races, sometimes it could be a little doldrum and you're just kind of grinding out the laps. But when you see the consistency of like what you're talking about with the 25.2s, 25.1 for Beaubier last time by, that's what these guys are doing. They're just running these consistent laps.
So now we're going to go 5 laps to go in this race. Another 25.2 for Sean Dylan Kelly. This time a 125.220. I mean, within literally hundredths of a second of each other. Incredible when you look at the size of this circuit being a 2.4 mile circuit, ups and downs and all kinds of opportunities. Judging from that lap time, we haven't seen Sean Dylan Kelly make a mistake yet.
Does Cam look like he can get close enough to do anything with them to you?
It looks to me almost like Beaubier's more hanging on.
He's just trying his best. He's probably fooling us, but it looks the same to me. Like, there's such a yo-yo effect in different spots on the racetrack, and he can kind of be here, but it's very difficult to pass at Mid-Ohio. You have to get creative at times with this place, like you saw Josh do earlier in the race. And it's, if your bike's not good in certain spots, it's very difficult to get close.
Yeah, and the thing is taking a shot like right there is where the gap has been. It keeps being created, but Cameron's able to make it up in other spots. But it's like, do I have a weapon to attack? As Kelly sends the front wheel in the air, and that almost gives an opportunity for Herron to just roll on by. Josh, given the opportunity to pass, I think would take it. But right now he's content to sit behind as Beaubier continues to really, it looks like Beaubier's putting a lot of pressure on the Dunlop front tire to stay with these riders.
I also feel like Josh has already taken a shot in that one spot. Now he's let STK just kind of do a lot of the donkey work at the front, and he might just be ramping up for that same place again. Look at the roll speed he carried through there this time. He's going to follow him again down through here.
And I think the other thing too is I don't think Josh wants to give away any of his secrets at this point, because he's got a couple places where he's able to easily roll up on Sean Dylan Kelly. And if he passes him too early, maybe SDK is going to be able to pick up on that, change his line or change the way his lean angle and application of the throttle. And so Herron right now is playing a very, very smart race. The issue is, will Cameron Beaubier have enough to spoil the plans that Josh Herron has in mind for the number 40 as this race continues to wear on with 3.5 laps to go?
Well, at the end of, with 3, we're going to have 3 to go this next time by. And at the end of the back straightaway, so far, I haven't seen anything that anybody has for Sean at the end of the back straightaway. Yeah. So STK is very strong there at the end of the back straightaway. So I think it's got to be turn 1 or it's got to be turn 2 for Herron to make the pass. And you can be assured that if he goes by STK anywhere, when he gets to that keyhole, he's going to keep it very tight all the way through there. So, I think that Josh is making a plan, and or we're getting ready to watch Sean Dylan Kelly win his very first race.
Yeah, and he definitely
could very well happen.
He definitely could. But Herron said to Hannah at the top of the show, "I'm here to win races."
Yep.
So for sure, knowing Josh Herron for as long as we have, settling for second is not in his plan. It's not in his DNA. He will take a shot somewhere, whether it pays off or not. I'm going to bet it will, because he's had so much time to study him. As we come through the keyhole, watch again the drive out of the corner. Watch both bikes just jump, accelerate, get on the meat of the tire as they head down this back straightaway. Now Herron, it's been a while since he's had to look over his shoulder. Kind of looks like the same picture as they come by the stripe at 180 plus miles an hour. And Josh Herron, who's incredible on the brakes, just isn't using that tool in his toolbox right now. He doesn't need to keep up with Kelly.
Yeah, and Sean, from the drop of the hat on Thursday, right off the bat here, he was quick. So Sean Dylan Kelly, he's won races before. He knows how to win races, and he was very fast on Thursday right out of the gate, and he's parlayed that into a tremendous amount of laps here in this Superbike race number 2.
But Jason, how good is Sean Dylan Kelly? He's been running 25.2s this entire race, and this last lap by, with 3 laps to go in this race, he just uncorked a 124.864. And guess who goes right with him, though?
Yep. Yeah, well, it goes back to the fact that Herron's fastest lap is half second slower than they've been running. So now you can see Herrin, see the body position change?
Yeah.
You see Herrin getting just a little bit more racing now. Turn 1, Greg. I said it was going to be turn 1 or turn 2, and that's exactly what it is. Now you watch the Ducati rider now. He's going to go try to sprint for a full lap. This is a qualifying lap now for Josh Herrin. You can see it in the body position, how it has changed. Everything's got lower, a little more aggressive. Now he's going to hold this bike and try to hold it down. There was no way he was going to let that pass happen again. And now you're going to see probably right down near back where his lap time is now. STK is a tremendous drive. He's going to be able to draft, and he's good down into turn 6. Let's see if Herrin moves over to the right. He does. STK still wants to take a shot, but he wasn't able to do it.
He wasn't able to do it, and when he snatched the brake lever, did the 40, the rear end came off the ground, and Herrin's bike looked perfectly planted. A lap and a half to go in this one. Herrin makes the move at the perfect time. And now he's dragging these 3. All of a sudden, the pace is ramped up as Beaubier last time by the stripe went his fastest lap of the race. So he's able to do 24s as well. Incredible what these tires have been able to put up with this entire race. But Josh Herrin eking out a 10th here and a 10th there. He's got his head down.
Yep, and this is the other spot that he's good. All at these last 3 turns of the lap, he's pretty incredible through this little spot. And then coming onto the front straightaway, he's been really fast. So for STK, this is the first time he's going to see where Josh might be a little bit better. And we've got white flag out. Look at the gap that he pulls out just right there alone, Greg. That was where we saw him pretty quick. And you can see STK tipping in a little bit earlier there. Herrin opens that up, and he rolls that Ducati through, bucking him out of the seat there just a little bit. But look at the gap now.
And for Herrin, this is qualifying lap number 2 on the final lap as he has his head down, and he went through the best sector for Josh Herrin, and he has gapped his competitors. What a race, what a smart race Josh Herrin has had. This rider at 34 years old followed his competitors until these last 2 laps. Now they come down the back straightaway. STK has a good run, deep on the brakes. Look at Sean Dillon Kelly going sideways. He's closed the gap on Herrin, but Herrin scoots away. Now, up and over this hill. That's a very extreme sharp angle. They go down the hill. STK not trying to give it up. But this is only the second look that Kelly has had on Josh Herrin in the latter stages of the race. There's no place to do it right now. Where is Sean Dillon Kelly going to do it?
He's too good there. Herrin's too good there, and he's going to come out of this next, go down here up to 4th, and they're going to go back to 2nd here, Greg. And then as they exit this turn, he's going to move all the way to the right side of the track and park that Ducati on the inside all the way through here. Not going to allow STK to go by him. And we know how good he is here. Bring him home.
Here comes Herrin, final corner, onto the front straightaway. Ducati sliding sideways, and Herrin will take victory by 0.3 of a second and extend his championship points lead. And another battle going on. It's the 45 of Cameron Peterson, who gets by Escalante. Escalante gets back by him again as they come down to the final corners here in Mid-Ohio. No!
Hayden Gillum goes down.
Hayden Gillum, who is in 7th place, crashes out on the last lap, and JD Beach will come across the line in 6th.
Yeah, that Brandon Posh, he's not getting scored.
He got laps.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he came back in, Jay. I believe that he's lap traffic in 18th place. And Josh Herrin, what a masterclass of racing. If you're a young racer and you have pace and you want to see how it's done, that's how it's done. Look at that lap 1. But look at the consistency. Lap 6 all the way down to lap 14, 25 twos. And then Herrin turned the screws and was able to win this race at a 24.9. After 19 laps, Herrin was able to go 0.2 of a second slower than his fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, impressive from Herrin. Champions right there as we get another look at Hayden Gillum tipping over. And what an incredible job. I mean, Greg, this is exactly kind of what it looked like to us from the booth. Herrin had some left in the tank.
And one more finger on that championship trophy. We'll be back to talk to him after this quick commercial break.
We have said it from the beginning of our coverage here on Friday, Roger Hayden, that Josh Herrin came into this weekend off of that summer break with a boatload of confidence and even more momentum.
And it just grows every race, and every time he wins one of these races, the championship pressure is coming off Josh because his point lead is growing, and he's able to now, he can afford a little bit of a mistake, and just you could see it in his riding in the beginning of the race. He's passing people, and places where you're not used to crash. You see Hayden there, unfortunately. Last lap, looks like he went across the start-finish line there and parked it in turn 1. But for Josh, he's passing people in places you're not expecting passes. Down into turn 2 on a Superbike is a scary place to make a pass, and Josh is able to do it, and you can just see it in his riding, and it's fun to watch.
No, it's been great to watch. I mean, you think about just the last 5 races. Josh Herron has been able to win 4 of them. This one today, making it 3 in a row. He has separated himself from the rest of the Superbike grid.
He really, and even watching those last couple laps, we were talking about this. He looks like he's just stalking him, just following him, and then with a couple laps to go, he's able to make the move and put his head down and really charge hard and pull away. But you just can't say enough about Josh right now, and he went in tricky conditions yesterday and went in a different way today. And when a rider like him at his skill level has the momentum, man, it's really hard to slow that down.
You see that camaraderie, all the congratulations from the entire Warhorse HSBK Racing Ducati team down there. Even Loris Baz parking his bike, making a way over to congratulate Josh on that incredible victory. And he talked about that on Friday, saying that right now what he has around him, it's not just a team, but it's a family.
And that's when Josh, he's had that before, and that's when he's been at his best. I mean, when you go down in the pits, you can see him and the team are always hanging out. They're laughing, they're having fun, and I think that helps take the pressure off in these situations where the pressure is starting to mount, and he's able to just go there. And like I said, him and his teammate, they have a lot of fun. The team, it's a big difference when you and your team are like a family. And some riders, when they talk about it, it's a lot more fun when you go racing, and you look forward not only to the racing, but you look forward to seeing your mechanics and your crew and going to work together.
He talks a lot about his own family, his wife Rachel, his son Griffin, come to a lot of the stops on the MotoAmerica calendar. At 34 years old, a different stage of his life than he was in the last time he won a Superbike title. In your opinion, knowing what this growth has been like, with the maturity that he has now, how much easier is this task?
I think it's a little easier now, married and a kid, it's easier to focus on the job. And I think he's even said it before, when his wife Rachel and them got together, she has seen the highs and lows of what Josh has been through, and she's been there the whole time, and it makes a huge difference. And it's really cool to see Josh being a dad as well.
It's great to watch this celebration continue. Another solid ride from Sean Dillon Kelly, able to collect his 3rd podium of this maiden voyage into Superbike competition for him. Cameron Bobier back on the box as well. We'll hear from all of them with Hannah Lopa, and with that, we'll send it back over to Greg and Jason.
Steel Commander Superbike coverage at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course is brought to you by Permco, a leading manufacturer of high-pressure hydraulic gear, vane pumps and motors, flow dividers, intensifiers, and accessories.
Welcome back to Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Celebrations with Geraldo Faraci and Josh Herron after an outstanding Steel Commander Superbike race number 2. Can't emphasize it enough. If you're a young racer and you want to learn racecraft, maybe Herron should charge people for that. I mean, that was pretty impressive. Here, look at the results. Herron with a 0.3 of a second victory over Sean Dillon Kelly. Cameron Bobier in 3rd. Loris Baz, Bobby Fong, JD Beach, Escalante Peterson, all the way down to Jake Gagne in 10th place after Ashton Yates was able to get the better of him. But let's get right down to Hannah, who has a very happy winner.
Josh Herron does the double here at Mid-Ohio. Josh, another very incredible performance from you. You followed Sean there for a really long time. What were you able to learn from him? Where would you say the turning point of that race really was for you?
I mean, if I'm being completely honest, I made a move on him in the beginning, and he stuffed me pretty hard. Might have been payback for the pass I did before. Maybe it was a little closer than I thought. Then I just decided to sit behind him, and I was able to just really save my tires to the end. And I planned on trying to get around him out of Thunder Alley, going up and over the left right there into the second and last corner, but I thought it might be a little too risky, so I went 2 laps before. I was more so worried about Cam, just seeing what his game plan was. I thought he might have been sitting back thinking the same thing, so I just wanted to attack a little earlier than I planned, just in case, so it kind of threw him off if that's what he was planning. So that was my first ever double in my career and on a Superbike, so that's huge for me. I'm super stoked. huge shout out to my entire Warhorse HSBK Racing Ducati team. My Ducati V4R has been amazing all year. I got to thank August X, Duck Performance, Parts Unlimited, Moto Horse, Ducati New York, OnlyFans, KYT helmets, Alpine Stars, GoPro straight edge helmets. I guess we're selling another replica helmet because we got 2 wins this weekend. So be on the lookout for my Instagram for that. Thanks to Good Boy Vodka. I couldn't bring the vodka up here today, but shout out to Good Boy Vodka. You can count on the fact that we'll be going back celebrating with some of that tonight. So thanks to everybody back home at Warhorse in Scranton, Pennsylvania for all the hard work, especially Mark back there, everybody that's involved in this whole program. I have a family here, and I hope these guys keep me for the next 5 years.
You've got a good points buffer heading into the next round, where it's going to be a triple header at a track that the Ducati notoriously does well at, and a track you happen to like a lot. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I was most nervous about this round because I was fearing so bad that it would be like Barber for us, but it turned out to be one of our best tracks. So going into 3 races at COTA is probably the coolest thing I could ever have imagined. I know Cam's going to be super strong there. He wasn't there last year, but it's not a track we struggle at for sure. So yeah, just shout out to everybody. Hello to Griffin, my wife Rachel back home. It's awesome coming home to celebrate. Going to ride with a bunch of Ducati fans tomorrow on the track out here, so to go there with 2 wins today is awesome. So shout out to everybody on the podium today, and thanks to MotoAmerica for bringing us back to Mid-Ohio around these amazing fans. I'm feel at home here, so thank you so much.
Big weekend for Josh Herrin, guys.
It's a huge weekend, his first double, and Jason Pridmore, he couldn't have done it 2 different types of races yesterday and today. Here's the pass for the lead.
Yeah, tremendous pass down into turn 1. Huge shout out to Sean Dillon Kelly. He led the majority of this race, and he's going to learn a lot from this today. Hannah?
I'm sure he did. He certainly led the majority of that race. And Sean, I know it's perhaps not the finish that you were hoping for, looking to get your first ever Superbike race win there, but take us through that race. I mean, how happy do you feel right now?
Yeah, no, Josh is definitely not my friend right now, but no, that was an awesome race. I'm really happy to have led all the laps I led. Obviously, my first time finally keeping the lead. The last couple times I got in the lead, I screwed it up. So I think this was an amazing, amazing podium. We all deserved it. Race yesterday was really complicated. This morning was complicated, but I was being critical on myself and was definitely scratching my head. But you know, all my guys really helped me to keep the focus, keep the mentality in the right place, and I think I did one of the best races so far. So super happy. My whole EasyHealthPlans.com Top Pro Racing team. Thank you to all my crew, my guys for believing in me. Thank you to my sponsors, OnlyFans, Palm Beach Police and Fire Foundation, 1833 CJ Knows. Thank you guys so much for believing in me, and the win is obviously coming, so I'm looking forward to it.
Congrats, Sean, guys.
Oh, we're looking forward to it too, and we know that these BMWs are fast, and we got a long back straightaway at Circuit of the Americas. Sean Dillon Kelly has got to be thinking that he's going to be in contention. Let's get right back down to Hannah with our 3rd place finisher.
Cam Beaubier sitting comfortably in 3rd that whole race. Were you as comfortable as you appeared to be on that bike? Did you have anything in the reserves, or were you really laying it all out there?
No, I wasn't comfortable at all. I was struggling quite a bit out there. You know, Sean and Josh, they had a really good pace going, and man, it was nothing faster than I've gone all week, and I've had great pace all weekend. But for whatever reason, I felt like my rear tire just never came in from the first lap. I was riding as hard as I could just to stay in touch with them, trying to make it all up on the brakes, and struggling really bad off the exits. But you know, that's racing. It is what it is. Josh extended his points championship or points gap this weekend, which is a bummer. But we're catching up to the other guys. It's not over till it's over. Just going to keep our head down. Massive thank you to the Tytlers guys. They've been working so hard all weekend, all year, and giving me an incredible bike. So hats off to those guys. All the amazing fans at Mid-Ohio for coming out. Yeah, Bell, Alpine Stars, and Man Above for keeping us all safe out here, and we beat the rain, so that's good.
A 2nd and a 3rd on the weekend for Cameron Beaubier.
Yeah, what a job he's done, but it's all about this guy right now. Your championship points leader leaves here, extending. We have more when we come back.
The podium celebration continues for the Steel Commander Superbike category here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. You heard Sean Dillon Kelly, Roger, say that Josh Herrin certainly isn't a friend of his right now. What did you see in that race?
I think just beating him there at the end, you know, he was upset about it. And I think Sean, though, you know, he's going to have these races like that. He's a Superbike rookie, and Josh and Cam has been in these situations so much throughout their career. And You know, we talked a lot about Sean this week. Sean did a lot of work in practice this weekend. We talked about that a lot on the broadcast, how he was going out there putting a lot of laps in, a lot of fast laps, and it paid off today. I know he's going to be disappointed to lead majority of the race and get beat, but he's going to learn from that. He almost won a race at Laguna. It's coming. If you just keep putting yourself in those positions to be there to win, eventually it's going to happen.
Yeah, for Sean Dylan Kelly, he's been fast ever since that test session back on Thursday, learning this new facility for him and for the Top Pro Racing team. They made quick work of it, a great weekend. But for Josh Herrin, being able to do the double first time in his Superbike career, that's big.
It's huge. And for Josh right now, just the way he's riding, I'm sure he wishes COTA was next week. When you get the ball rolling like that, you don't want to take another couple weeks off. And Josh just has to keep doing what he's doing, you know, what he's did all year. He's got another about month left in the season to finish the job, and right now he's did a lot of work to give himself this spot where he's comfortable. But all these guys are going to be shooting for him when we go to COTA. They're going to want to try to, you know, we've been talking a lot about Josh, and other riders are competitive. They're ready to hear us talk about something else.
You heard Josh say it there, that we're going to Circuit of the Americas, which is another track where they certainly don't struggle. You even said it earlier today, the Ducati is going to be hard to beat on that racetrack. What are the characteristics before we get there that the other teams can work on with their equipment beforehand?
It's a long back straightaway, so the BMW is going to be quick there as well. Last year, Josh, that second race, checked out and left the field. So he's going to go back. He's going to have good data to go back to, and it's a race that he's won, and he's got so much confidence, and that's the most important thing. But I think Cam Beaubier, Sean Dylan Kelly, they're going to be there, and they're going to want to win that long back straightaway. The BMW is fast as well.
The fan activities here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course continuing. You can see everybody over there in the fan zone. There's some great merchandise that's available, some fun interactive games, and see the kids still climbing up as we are in between races right now. This has been a family-friendly event for sure. Looking forward to years to come here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. For the fans on the hill that are waiting patiently, we still have more racing to go today. Let's get back over to Craig White, Jason Pridmore, and Hannah Lopa.
Steel Commander Superbike coverage at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course is brought to you by Permco, a leading manufacturer of high-pressure hydraulic gear, vane pumps and motors, flow dividers, intensifiers, and accessories. By Steel Commander Corp, a leading steel building manufacturer offering expertise, innovation, and dedication to quality. And by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
244 points for Josh Herrin, and now Bobby Fong in second place with Jake Gagne. 52-point lead in this championship. Beaubier back 60. So Beaubier starting to close in on his competitors in front of him, but Herrin doing a great job. What a race for Hannah and Jason. I'm Greg. We'll see you in a couple weeks from COTA.